Hello everyone, a very good evening to all and I welcome you all in IDEA, that is in-depth editorial analysis discussion. So guys, today is 29th of December and we are going to pick up best of the editorials from the different newspapers. Here we majorly cover the newspapers such as Indian Express, Business Line, the Hindustan Times and all such kind of sources which are important for the examinations. Now guys, in this particular session, basically the focus will be made on first of all the content enrichment, that is very important for examination. Second, focus will also be made on interlinking contemporary affairs, current affairs with GS papers, that is paper 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then detailed background of all the current affairs articles, structured explanations, art of exam presentation and multi-dimensional interlinkages. All these particular things will be focused in these particular sessions. Now guys, in the today's session, we are going to take the 4 articles and these 4 articles are, for example, the first article is on circular economy. Is India ready to come full circle in sustainability? This article will be important for GS paper number 3. Then the next article is bridging an end to stubble burning. This article will be important for GS paper number 3, environment, pollution and degradation. Both articles have been taken from the Hindu Business Line. Then next article is how are disputes between states resolved in India. This article from Indian Express, a very important article for GS paper number 2, issues and challenges related to the federal structure. The next article is nutrition first. This is important article with respect to the GS paper number 3 as well as GS paper number 2 issues related to hunger, and this article is from also the Business Line newspaper. Now before moving on guys, I would like to tell you briefly about the Unacademy UPSC CSE GS courses, where you get an opportunity to get educated by the India's top educators, and there are now many even other reasons to join Unacademy. You get widest choice of educators, flexibility to change your course, unlimited view on lectures. There is dedicated doubt solving sessions also that are carried, printed comprehensive notes, end-to-end preparation, live mentorship and daily answer writing sessions. All these are the features, and now because of new year, 23% discount for 2023, resolve 2023, 23% discount you can avail, where you can get the discounts. For example, 67,800 rupees subscription will be available at 52,000 rupees across all subscription models. There is the flexibilities and discounts that are being given. You can use my code Sahil29. You can use my code Sahil29 to avail all these discounts. Then now just Raftar batch, which is a English batch, Hindi and English bilingual batch, it has just got started. You can enroll in the it is just going to get started. You can enroll in Raftar batch from January 5. Fine. Then the next is the Aramba batch, which is a comprehensive batch for again 2024, and this batch is going to start from January 12. You can enroll in that, and now you can also enroll in all these courses at 0% EMI. Okay, so paying capacity should never be the constraint in to avail quality education. So at 0% EMI, all these courses can be availed. Now starting up with the first article. So the first article we are going to take is from Business Line newspaper, and the article talks about circular economy. Is India ready to come full circle in sustainability? A very important article, and guys, this year a question might come on this circular economy because at multiple platforms Prime Minister has talked about the circular economy. Even we have also started the life movement. Okay, so a lot of discussion on circular economy has happened. Now let's discuss it. Now first of all guys, when we talk about the economic models, okay, we have number 1 linear economic model, we have linear economic model, and number 2 we have circular economic model. Now what is linear economic model? Linear economic model is something like this, that basically what happens, basically a product is sourced, the raw material is sourced, then a product will be produced, it will be converted in a finished product, then that particular product will be sold, then the product will be used, and ultimately the product will be ending in a landfill, the product will be disposed. This is a linear model of consumption that is adopted. Now this linear model of consumption has many problems. It uses a lot of resources. Many a times the valuable products which might have some viable life cycle, they are even discarded because of the lifestyle patterns that are changing in the people. It is environmentally unsustainable. Is it clear or not? It also leads to many other problems. For example, many number of times the heavy metals that are used in many of the electronic items, they lead to problems in water cycle, they becomes contaminants in environment. So it leads to environmental problem, it leads to sustainability related problems. Okay, and this kind of a model now it will be changed in circular economy. What is circular economy? So basically guys, it is being provided that we source a raw material, we produce a raw material, it is sold, it is used. After use it will be repaired, and after repairing you will use it again. Okay, so you have a mobile phone, there's some problem that comes, you repair it, and after repair you can use it again. Then that particular thing can be reused. Okay, so for example, I use a mobile phone, I sell that mobile phone to somebody else, then that person will reuse that phone, then that person gives that mobile phone to some other person, then that person will reuse. So reuse can be there. Then guys, there can be the refurbishment. Now what is refurbishment? In refurbishment, a product which is become old, where there are some kind of issues, problems that had come, it will be rectified, it will be given a kind of a new, like it will be just given some kind of a refurbishment. Okay, and then it will be again be coming in the production cycles. For example, the mobile phones which are little bit used for 1 month, 2 month, now their external body will be changed. If there are some defects, they will be changed, and then they will be sold again by the producer. So refurbishment can be done, and then recycling can also be done. Okay, so in recycling, you have a mobile phone, the different components will be taken out of it, and then they will be used again in some another kind of thing. So basically circular economy is this. Guys, please keep this particular picture in your mind, and it is a very simple kind of a schematic. As a flow chart you can use it to depict that how linear and circular economy are different. So a very important picture, you can use it. Now see this particular thing. We know that recently COP27 got held in Egypt, and in COP27 all the member countries that came together, they have discussed that we need to bring along the circular economy model. According to them, they have provided this particular thing, that the carbon emissions we need to control it, and for that particular thing, thus responsible consumption, sustainable resource management is a very important thing. And India has been a champion in giving this particular kind of a thought line ideology, because you might be knowing this thing, that India recently adopted life movement. Now in this particular life movement, the excuse me guys, sorry. So in this particular life movement, the focus will be given on creating responsible consumption patterns. Responsible consumption patterns. Is it clear or not? So in this line of responsible consumption patterns, the circular economy automatically becomes a logical extension. Okay, so moving on. Now, why circular economy is important? Number one, it's important for sustainability. Guys, understand this thing. Sustainability or sustainable development means that our development should be such that resources for the future generation should not be compromised. Their interest should not be threatened. This is the sustainable development. Is it clear? So you should remember the Gandhiji's you should remember the quotation. It is said that we should not treat the resources as legacy from our grandparents. Rather, resources should be treated as the debt from our grandchildren. So as you have taken a debt from grandchildren, it is needed to be repaid with interest. So sustainability means use resource in such a way that future generations also have it. So by circular economy, sustainability will be focused. Then the next is that circular economy will focus on reuse. So therefore again it will be environmentally feasible. Then it will ensure longevity, because of that particular thing it is going to be cost effective, and as it is recyclable, again environmentality will be focused. Now in this particular direction, guys, India always had the culture of recycle and reuse. We know this particular thing, guys, that even in our homes, when we have used a particular product, okay, you can take an example of a toothbrush. So once we have used that particular toothbrush, that will be used for cleaning purposes, then it will be used for such other kind of a purposes. So recycle, reuse have always been the part of Indian cultural ethos. But over the years, what has happened, because of economic growth that came, growing population that came, okay, basically that came, our consumption patterns got changed. With rising incomes, people became obsessive consumers. Fine, more and more consumption was seen as the hallmark of prosperity. So consumption patterns started to increase. But now, as we are facing more population, we are facing more impact on climate change, rising environmental pollutions is there. Today, again, circle economy's importance has come to the limelight. It has become more imperative. In this particular direction, government has taken many initiatives as well. For example, guys, what government has taken? Government has come out with battery waste management rules, where the lithium ion batteries which have reached their end of life, these lithium ion batteries will be reused, they will be recycled. The components which can be recycled, they will be again being brought in the production process. Then plastic waste management rules are there, which have been recently got amended in 2022. In these plastic waste management rules, guys, it has been provided that first of all, single-use plastic, the single-use plastics are the ones which cannot be recycled. Single-use plastics are needed to be eliminated. Okay, and more reuse the plastics which can be reused. Fine, their recycling, reuse needs to be focused. Then e-waste management rules are there. Fine. Now these e-waste management rules also talks about the circular economic model. Now, moving in this particular direction, guys, moreover, government has also, in this particular direction, guys, the government has also come out with target waste disposal standards. Now, basically, all the different kind of manufacturers, producers, manufacturer of mobile phone, manufacturer of machineries, manufacturer of displays. Okay, so manufacturers, producers, importers, as well as the bulk consumers. Okay, the bulk consumers, for example, institutions, for example, hospital is a bulk consumer of certain kind of products. Government buildings are the bulk consumers of the kind of products. So these all importers, bulk consumers, manufacturers, they need to dispose their waste in a particular manner, and for that thing, standards have been brought. Then the next thing that comes in this particular direction, guys, is that basically government is also enabling the extended producer responsibility, and the facilitation for extended producer responsibility certificates is also being taken up. We'll understand that what type of certificates they actually are. Now, first of all, let's understand that what we understand by EPR, extended producer responsibility. Okay. So guys, extended producer responsibility simply means, suppose there is a shopkeeper, suppose there is a shopkeeper. Now this particular shopkeeper has, let's say, manufactured a mobile phone. He has manufactured a mobile phone. Now you go and you buy this particular mobile phone. Okay, let's say that the end life of this particular mobile phone is 10 years. It is 10 years, that till 10 years this particular mobile phone will be function. It is the life cycle of this mobile phone. Suppose you use this mobile phone for 10 years. Laterwards, what can happen? What has to be done? It is a responsibility of this producer that he has to collect back this particular mobile phone from you after 10 years, and he need to dispose that particular mobile phone in a sustainable manner. Disposal of this mobile phone needs to be done in an environmentally sensitive manner. So the producer has an extended responsibility to procure back the product after the product's life cycle has been over. This is the provision. Okay, now guys, now you will say that, okay, this particular thing, how it can be made operationalized? There will be a lot of problems that will come. Why? Because this particular person might sell mobile phone to some another person. That person might sell mobile phone to some another person. How this producer will track him? That, okay, you took the mobile phone, he said that I have disposed it. How he will track it? So basically, guys, there can be certain incentives that can be brought in this particular system. Incentives, for example, it can be done that, let's say, the mobile phone's cost is 10,000 rupees. Now the producer will charge at the time of purchasing this mobile phone some 12,000 rupees. So additional 2,000 rupees will be kept as a security. So when this particular mobile phone will be returned, then these 2,000 rupees security can be given. So it will create an inherent incentive to return back that particular product. Moreover, one more mechanism is there, guys, that actually it's not required. There's one more mechanism that actually it's not required that this particular person has to procure the same mobile phone. Okay, for example, let's say this person has sold 10,000 mobile phones, and these 10,000 mobile phones, let's say he is manufacturing the Tony mobile phones. Okay, he had manufactured 10,000 mobile phones today, and after 10 years it has to be procured. So he this producer can procure other mobile phones also. Is it clear or not? He can procure other mobile phones also. For example, let's say he had sold 10,000 mobile phones, and after 10 years, when the end of the life cycle will come, he can procure 15,000 mobile phones also. It can be done. Now 5,000 additional mobile phones have been procured by this particular person. Now for this 5,000 additional mobile phones that he has procured, he will get a EPR, extended producer responsibility certificate. Okay, 10,000 you see here, he has to procure because he had sold them. But additional 5,000 that he has procured, for that he will get this extended producer responsibility EPR certificate. Okay, and he can sell this particular EPR certificate to some other mobile phone manufacturer who also had to procure. For example, there is another mobile phone, let's say ABC Mobile Phone Company. ABC Mobile Company has sold the 5,000 mobiles only. Now what they can do, rather than procuring, they can take this particular EPR certificate. So government is bringing mechanisms that how this EPR, extended producer responsibility certificate, can be enabled, so that the EPR provisions can be enhanced. Now guys, moving in this particular direction, guys, the next issue that comes here is that, just a minute guys. Just guys, give me 1 minute. I think there is some issue that has come. Okay guys, just give me 1 minute. I think there's some issue that has come. Okay, moving on guys. So sorry for the glitch, there was some issue that came in between, so sorry for that particular thing. Moving on. Now guys, as we have discussed that there are the different provisions that the government of India has already brought. We have discussed about the extended producer responsibility certificate, EBR certificates that have been brought. Now further, the budget of this particular year, ongoing budget, has also recognized the action plans across the 10 different sectors where they specifically need to focus on implementing the sustainable waste management policies. Now electronic waste, lithium ion batteries, end of life vehicles, the vehicles which are nearing the end of life, scrap metals, municipal solid waste, in all of them, fine, there needs to be the proper disposable plan that will be brought. Now moving on. So guys, as we are moving, government has done substantial progress, but still we cannot say that the progress is overwhelming. Progress is underwhelming. There is still a lot of scope for improvement that has been there. Now in this particular direction guys, understand this thing that there is a lack of clear vision towards end goal of India's circular economy mission. We have talked about that, okay, we will bring circular economy, but what we need to do, what are the clear targets that we need to achieve, where we want to reach, these targets are not there. So therefore this clear vision is missing, and because of this particular clear vision, progress has been limited. Moreover, in this particular direction, guys, India is also reluctant many number of times. It doesn't adopt a circular economy model wholeheartedly because there are supply chain limitations that, guys, are there. Is it clear? Complex recycling processes are there. Fine, many number of times certain products, recycling them, particularly electronic components, is it becomes very much difficult. Then there are lack of incentives to invest in EPR, lack of incentives to invest in the recycling and all such kind of a thing. Then next is lack of information to support participation in reusing, recycling, remanufacturing. Many of the producers that we have, they are the small producers, MSME producers, etc. So they don't have the knowledge as how to reuse, how to recycle, how to refurbish the products. Okay, so now in this particular direction, guys, what are the steps that should be taken up? So we need to bring certain steps. Number one, we need to focus on legislative aspect. So basically we need to bring the laws which specifically talks about the procurement of recycled secondary raw materials used in the initial stages of the production. For example, let's say there is a car manufacturing plant. So when the car is being manufactured, at that point of time also there are a lot of raw materials that are being discarded. So how those raw materials that are being discarded, they are needed to be procured. Okay, so for that we only focus on end product mobile phone. Fine, but what about the process in which that the raw materials are needed to be procured? Then we also need to develop a law which will address the circular economy from a regulatory perspective. Fine, very clear cut targets, very clear cut timelines will be imposed on different sectors. So this is something that is to be provided. Then next is circular economy reporting framework is needed. We need to bring framework on circular economy reporting, that what is the progress that has been achieved for achieving the circular. First of all, define target and then create reporting mechanism that, okay, at the level of urban local body, at the level of district, at the level of a state, okay, at the level of a zone, what progress is having. Fine, so such kind of a reporting mechanism needs to be brought. Next thing is there, we need to clarify the mechanism surrounding trading of extended producer responsibility certificate. So if you remember, I have given you one example that suppose you are a mobile phone manufacturer, it is your extended producer responsibility that you have to procure mobile phone after the end of the life. Suppose you sold 10,000 mobile phone, but you procured 15,000. So 5,000 additional mobile phones that you have procured, you will get a certificate for that, EPR certificate, and that certificate can be traded, can be sold to somebody else. Now how that particular thing will happen, for that we don't have much of information. Clarity is not there. The next thing that comes in this particular direction is this, that fiscal incentives need to be given to business to complete the supply chain. Okay, supply chain. Okay, let's say a product has been discarded, it is to be provided. Now guys, you see this particular thing that we have talked about, that basically a product after being used, it could be reused, it could be refurbished, it could be recycled. So how the supply chain for this particular thing will be carried. Okay, so all these particular issues are needed to be focused, and fiscal incentives can be given to business to employ it. So therefore it is being said that we need to bring a combination of efforts. There needs to be the government's efforts, there needs to be the efforts of government, efforts of the business, and efforts of people also, so that they should come together, and only after that the circular model of production or circular economy can actually be adopted. Fine, so this is, guys, all about this particular article. And now moving to next article, bringing an end to stubble burning. Now this article is also taken from Business Line, and the article will be important for GS paper number 3, issues related to issues related to the environment. Issues related to environment. Now basically, guys, we know this particular thing, that every year the stubble burning becomes a very significant environmental issue. Okay, now understand this particular thing, that first of all, let's understand some of the basic things, that why the stubble burning is carried, what is the stubble burning, and all such kind of a thing. So basically, as we talk about the stubble, what is stubble? Stubble is the leftover residual which stays there in the fields after you have harvested a crop. So once you have harvested wheat or you have harvested paddy, these leftover straws, they are called as stubble. Now how to dispose this particular stubble? This stubble can be extracted and can be used for many such kind of things. For example, it can be used as a fodder, It can be used as an animal feed. Okay, fine. So the stubble can be used. Now when we talk about, guys, the stubble, many times this stubble is actually burnt as well. Now stubble burning, when it becomes a major issue, let's understand this particular thing. So basically in the northwest India, states such as the Haryana, Punjab, and certain parts of western Uttar Pradesh, so basically what happens, they grow the paddy. Now the paddy will be harvested somewhere around the month of September or October. So around month of September or October, paddy is harvested. Now understand this particular thing, that once a paddy is harvested, after the paddy, wheat is to be sowed. Okay, once the paddy is harvested, just a minute. So after the paddy harvest, wheat has to be sown. Now period between harvesting of paddy and between sowing of wheat, this period window is very small. There is around 15 days during these particular two period windows, paddy and wheat. Okay, so therefore what happens, many number of times farmers, rather than extracting this paddy, they keep this, they burn this paddy, so that within 15 days this entire process can be completed. Moreover, understand this particular thing, guys, that I have told you that this paddy can also be used as an animal fodder. Okay, now see this thing, that wheat, when the wheat will be harvested around the month of March and April, a significant part of that particular wheat is converted into the animal fodder, but not paddy's leftover. Why? Because paddy's leftover, they basically, when we talk about the paddy, okay, non-basmati rice particularly, it contains high silica content. And that silica is not suitable for animal consumption. So therefore paddy's straw will not be given to animals, rather it will be burnt. Okay, moreover, in this particular time, there are many other issues also that are there. So guys, around the month of October, what happens, the surface winds around the month of October, the surface winds that are there, they are very slow, they are very weak, and as the winds are very slow, they are not able to carry the pollutants that are being released, or the smoke that is being released by this particular stubble burning. Secondly, in this particular time, there is another issue that comes here, is that, guys, just a minute, there is another issue that comes in this particular direction, guys. Okay, and this particular issue is something like this, okay, that now the wind starts to become cold, and as the wind is cold, so basically that particular wind rests near the ground, it tends to stay for more time near the ground, and because of that particular thing, a kind of an envelope is created, and in that particular envelope the wind gets trapped. So therefore around the ground there will be lot more pollutants that will be trapped in that envelope. So therefore stubble burning is going to be a very significant issue. Is it clear? So now the next question comes, that how to deal with this particular stubble burning. Okay, so we will be discussing on that particular thing. But guys, on another aspect, I just want to give you one particular reference, that the Supreme Court specifically, and as well as the NGT, National Green Tribunal, specifically had said this thing, that the Delhi becomes a gas chamber around the month of October and November, and it becomes difficult to breathe. It leads to violation of Article 21. It leads to many problems. For example, the greenhouse gas emissions that are being released while this paddy is being burned, it leads to global warming. Then it leads to melting of Himalayan glaciers, because guys, when basically these particular stubble is being burning, okay, it leads to high carbon emissions, and these carbon emissions increase temperature, it leads to global warming, and then what happens, melting of Himalayan glaciers happen. Then it also leads to soil degradation, because when the stubble is being burnt, the stubble burning, the heat that is radiated, it kills some beneficial fungus and bacteria that are very important for soil fertility, so it also impacts the soil. Then it leads to smog formation. Okay, so the fog and the smoke, it leads to smog formation, which leads to irritation on eyes, breathing issues, lung diseases, etc. Now what can be suggestions in this particular direction, guys? So multiple suggestions can be given. Number one, there are many of the machineries that are available now, and these machineries can help in integrating this particular stubble either in the soil. The stubble can be integrated in the soil, it can be chopped in a very fine pieces and then it can get integrated, or secondly it can be extracted. And for either extraction and for integration of this stubble in soil, we have a happy seeder, rotavator, baler, paddy straw chopper. But these machineries are actually very expensive, and many number of times the farmers are not able to afford these machineries. So therefore, basically these technologies, as they cannot be afforded by farmers, government needs to come out with a mechanism where government can procure these particular machineries and can make them available to farmer, or the government can give the subsidies to the farmer so that they can use this particular machinery. But guys, actually giving subsidy is also not going to solve the problem completely, because of one particular issue that we have. And this issue goes something like this, that these machineries are to be used for a particular season. So therefore farmers don't have that much incentive even after getting subsidies. Majority of farmers in India, they are the small farmers, marginal farmers, subsistence farmers, so they will not have that much incentive. Now, apart from that, there are other things also that can be focused upon. Guys, understand this particular thing. There are the new and improved seed varieties that have also come. For example, there is Basmati 1509, Pusa Basmati 1509 and PR 126. Now, these particular variety of seeds, they are the short duration crop varieties. They are short duration crop varieties. Okay, these particular varieties of rice gets mature in less time. Now, how they are going to help? Because because guys, understand this particular thing, that I told you that once paddy is harvested, after that the wheat, that is a rabi crop, it is to be grown. Period between paddy's harvest and wheat is not that much big. So if this paddy gets matured earlier, then this time window can be enhanced. And as this particular time window can be enhanced by that particular thing, guys, the farmers, if this time window will be long, they don't need to burn the paddy. They can use that particular stubble for paddy stubble for such other kind of things. This is something. Okay, they mature quickly and also they improve the quality of soil. Then the next is Pusa biodecomposer. Now, what is this Pusa biodecomposer? So basically, Pusa biodecomposer, it is a capsule which can be converted in a liquid solution. It can be converted in liquid solution, and this liquid can be sprayed on the stubble, and that stubble will the stubble will be decomposed in very few number of days. Is it clear or not? Fine. So decomposition process can be carried in a very fast manner, and then it will be integrated in that particular soil only, and it will increase the fertility of the soil also. Then the next is adoption of biogas plants. So this particular stubble can be used as an asset. So basically it has been provided, guys, that now government is running waste to energy mission, and in waste to energy mission, from waste such as the stubble, from waste such as garbage, government is retrieving energy. For example, incineration plants are there are incineration plant. In these incineration plant, the garbage can be burnt, and as the garbage will be burnt, it will create heat, and that heat will be used for generation of energy, electricity. Okay, that thermal energy will be used for electricity. So incineration is being carried. Now it is also being provided that basically these stubbles, they can be used to generate biogas by utilizing these crop waste through biomethanation technology. So by biomethanation technology, this stubble can be used to create the biogas plants, and these biogas plants or these biogas can be used for multiple number of purposes. Fine. Sustainable farm management practices. Fine. These particular stubbles can be converted in compost. Biochar. What is the biochar, guys? Biochar, it is a coal-like substance that can be retrieved from the biomass. Okay, so when biomass will be burnt in absence of oxygen, in absence of oxygen, so a charcoal like substance, biochar, can be retrieved. Fine. So it has a calorific value as well. In situ management, mechanical intensification can be done. Moreover, we also need to educate and empower farmers. Now farmers, simply they feel this particular thing, that they are only responsible for growing the food grains. They are not responsible for handling this crop residue. Okay, crop residue is not their responsibility. Because of that particular thing, they discard it. So this kind of this mindset in the farmers, the mindset of the farmers in this particular direction, it needs to be changed, and that mindset can be changed by bringing the awareness campaign, by bringing sensitization programs. Okay, now in this particular direction, guys, fine, it has been provided that all these efforts, when they are carried simultaneously, they could be actually effective in controlling the problem of stubble burning, and environmental pollution can be taken care of. Okay, so this is, guys, all about this particular article, and now we'll move to next article. The next article is from Indian Express newspaper. Article talks about how are disputes among states resolved. How disputes among the states are resolved. Now, this particular article is important for GS paper number 2. GS paper number 2. Fine. The issues of federalism. GS paper number 2. Issues of federalism. Now, guys, you might have read it in the newspaper that nowadays what's happening, there is a border dispute between two of the states that is coming again and again in news. That is the border dispute between Maharashtra and Karnataka. Okay, this border dispute got intensified. Okay, and recently what has happened, the basically Maharashtra's state legislative assembly, as well as basically the Vidhan Sabha and Vidhan Parishad, they have passed the resolution to carry a legal battle to solve the disputes. We'll see that what this dispute is, and similar kind of things have happened in Karnataka also. So basically the dispute between Maharashtra and Karnataka is over Belgavi, Karwar, Nipani. Now these regions are in North Karnataka. Now these particular regions are on border. Fine. And because they are on the border, often basically both the states claim these particular regions. Now basically, guys, it has happened that when we talk about the state reorganization, so the state boundaries got substantially changed in 1956 when State Reorganization Act came. And the State Reorganization Act made Belgavi the part of Mysore state. Okay, and Maharashtra but claims the Belgavi. Maharashtra says that Belgavi is a region where Marathi is a dominant language, and as Marathi is a dominant language in Belgavi, the Belgavi should remain in Maharashtra, but Karnataka doesn't agree with this particular thing. In the past, there are also the commissions that have been established. For example, in 1966, Mahajan Commission got established, and Mahajan Commission tried to resolve the boundary dispute between Maharashtra, the disputes between Maharashtra and Karnataka, and certain of the disputes in Kerala also. This commission had provided that the Belgaum, okay, and 247 villages, the other villages which also are the source of contentions, these villages should remain with Karnataka. But Maharashtra has rejected this particular report. Okay, and Maharashtra has moved to Supreme Court. Now, guys, how the issue is being resolved? So basically, whenever such kind of issues or disputes will be there between the different states, in that particular capacity, the center can come for assistance. So what will happen? The different states who are in disputes, let's say Maharashtra and Karnataka, they will cooperate with each other, and through negotiations they will try to solve that particular dispute. And in this particular direction, guys, the center will work as a neutral mediator. Okay, without any vested interest, they will help. Now, if these issues are resolved amicably, if both states agree that, okay, suppose this is the boundary that we support, now then what can happen? If to alter the boundaries, okay, the law can be brought in the parliament. And earlier the laws for the Bihar, Uttar Pradesh Alteration of Boundaries Act, fine, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh Alteration of Boundaries Act, already these laws have come in past also. In Belgavi issue, what has happened? Home Minister has met chief ministers of both the states, and a 6-member team has been constituted. This 6-member team constitutes 3 ministers from each of the side. 3 ministers from Maharashtra, 3 ministers from Karnataka, and they will try to resolve this particular dispute. So this is something that has happened. But apart from that, there are other methods also that are available. Now, what other methods are available? Number 1, judicial redressal can be taken up. So basically, Supreme Court has the original jurisdiction, and as per original jurisdiction of Supreme Court decides the federal disputes between the different states. The matters of federal disputes can be resolved by Supreme Court. Then second thing that here is that basically Article 131 specifically provides Supreme Court the primarily the jurisdiction over interstate and center and state disputes. So only Supreme Court can deal with that matter. So the states can approach the Supreme Court. The next thing, interstate council can also be used. So we have Article 263, and Article 263 gives the power to President to set up an interstate council between for the resolution of the disputes between the state. Now, this particular platform will emerge as a forum, a discussion platform where all these particular matters can be raised up. And in past, in 1988, Sarkaria Commission has also suggested that a permanent body by the name of Interstate Council should be brought. Okay, this is something that has happened, and it has come through the presidential order. Okay, so interstate council can be used. Now recently the interstate council got reconstituted also by the government. So in 2021 interstate council got reconstituted, is a very important point for your prelims examination. So center had reconstituted interstate council, and now it has 10 union ministers as the permanent invitees. 10 permanent invitees are there. Now there is also the standing committee. There is also the standing committee of the council. Now this particular standing committee within this interstate council has home minister who will be the chairman. Okay, and the finance minister of the states such as Maharashtra, UP, Gujarat, they are also the members in the standing committee. Okay, now other states are also suffering the disputes. For example, Assam Meghalaya boundary dispute is there, Assam Nagaland dispute, Assam Mizoram dispute, Assam Arunachal Pradesh disputes are there. So basically these states disputes can also be solved by such kind of mechanism as we have discussed, that is the interstate council. Is it clear or not? Now here also one prelims question we have given. Which of the following events happened the earliest? First interstate council was formed through presidential order, appointment of Sarkaria Commission, creation of Andhra Pradesh, Meghalaya conferred with full statehood. Okay, so what was the first, which of the following event happened earliest? Is it clear or not? So you can see the question answer also here. You can pause the video and can read it. Now moving to business line. Okay, so the article that we are taking here is nutrition first. Okay, so basically guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about hunger, hunger has been a very big problem in India. And for the aspect of hunger guys, I just want to give you the reference of global hunger index also. So as per global hunger index of 2022, India has been ranked at 107, and very serious hunger prevails in India. And now, particularly in the times of the COVID-19 pandemic, hunger problem has got aggravated even more. The hunger problem has got aggravated even more during COVID-19 pandemic. Now, when COVID-19 pandemic was going on, at that point of a time, what has happened? Government came out with an additional scheme as the part of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, that is Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana. And under this Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, government provided that apart from the entitlement that people are getting under National Food Security Act, okay, additional 5 kg food grains will be given. Okay, now let's understand that what are the entitlements that are given under National Food Security Act. Okay, so basically as per National Food Security Act, 75% people in rural India, 75% people in rural India, 50% people in urban India, and 66% people at pan India level. 66% people at pan India level will be provided subsidized food grains. What do we mean by subsidized food grains? 3 rupees kg rice, 2 rupees kg wheat, and 1 rupees kg coarse grains will be provided. 3 rupee kg rice, 2 rupees kg wheat, and 1 rupee kg coarse grains will be provided. This is a highly subsidized food grain. How much food grain you will get under National Food Security Act? So under National Food Security Act, basically the households are divided as priority household and Antyodaya Ann Yojana households. Priority households and Antyodaya Ann Yojana households. Now when we talk about priority households, they will be given 5 kg food grain per person. And Antyodaya Ann Yojana households, these are the poorest of the poor households. They will be given 35 kg food per household. Flat 35 kg food will be given to them. Okay, so this was the National Food Security Act. So what was going on? For example, Antyodaya Yojana household were getting 35 kg, and priority households, every individual was getting 5 kg. Apart from that, Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana provided 5 kg extra. Okay, so this is something that is going on. Fine. And this particular scheme got extended. Okay, there is one question, which topic? This will be important for GS paper number 2, hunger related issues. Okay, so this is something, and even on GS paper number 3, economy, this article will also become important. Why? Because subsidy burden because of this thing is being discussed here. Okay, so it was going on, and recently the central government has announced that Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana, where 5 kg as additional food grains are being provided, it will be merged with National Food Security Act. It will not continue. Government has provided this particular thing, that it will not continue. So 10 kg food grains per person that a person was getting, it will stop. Now, government has provided that actually what we are going to do, we will merge the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Ann Yojana under National Food Security Act, and earlier the 3 rupees, 2 rupees and 1 rupees that they have to pay, 3 rupees for rice, 2 rupees for wheat and 1 rupees for coarse grains. Now they don't need to pay even that. So entirely free of cost food grains will be provided. You don't need to pay even this subsidized price, but 5 kg will be given, not 10 kg. Now, what are the logic that this particular thing has happened? What are the reasons for this particular move that has been taken by the government? Number one, increasing food subsidy bill. So the budget of the food subsidy bill, or the food subsidy bill, stands at around 2.07 lakh crore rupees. But this food subsidy bill has actually it has shot up substantially. This food subsidy bill today stands at around 80,000 crore. Basically, it exceeded by 80,000 crore. So over and above 2 lakh crore, it exceeded by 80,000 crore. Is it clear or not? This is something that has happened. Moreover, Food Corporation of India's food stocks, the food stocks that they have, it also came down because so much additional food was to be given. So it is below the December, basically it is below the levels before the pandemic. So therefore, there might be the food shortages that can also come. Okay, this is something that has happened. Now when we talk about, guys, the food shortage in food in India, or the food or the health hunger related dimension in India, National Family Health Survey 5 has given some data on malnutrition. Okay, it has been provided, guys, that actually what has happened now, we see this particular thing, that there is increase in severe wasting in children under 5 from 7.5% in 2015-16 to 7.7% in 2019-21. Is it clear? So guys, what we understand by wasting? Wasting means when for a particular height, a particular weight is not there. Okay, then anemia has also increased. Now in this particular direction, guys, it has been provided that basically 57% of the women, they have anemia. 1 in 4 men, 25% of men, they have anemia. Obesity has also increased among the adults. 22.9% of men and 24% of the women, they are facing with the obesity. Okay, so obesity is increasing, anemia is high, wasting is high, all these issues are high. So therefore, this particular move further can threaten the hunger severity in India. But we also need to understand this particular thing, that as we talk about the hunger in India or the malnutrition in India, it can not only be attributed to just the carbohydrates or just to the cereals. Is it clear or not? Just by bulk ration, rice, wheat, it cannot be solved. It needs to be solved by giving them adequate macronutrients. For example, proteins is needed, leafy vegetables are needed. Many number of times hidden hunger is a big problem in India. What is hidden hunger? Hidden hunger means that you are eating adequate quantity of food, but still you are not able to get complete nutrition, because we need to have a diversified diet. So it needs different fiscal and policy thrust. This is something that is needed. Now what can be way forward in this particular direction? So basically, guys, the way forward that is being provided, that what can be done? A diversified, a decentralized procurement system can be developed. Okay, suppose the farmers are growing the crops. From the farmers, the crops will be growing in a decentralized manner. The states will procure at their own. Right now, the procurement is done by the union. Okay, now the states will be procuring, and the food that will be procured, it will be provided through the community kitchens as per the local taste to the people. Okay, so what type of food the people eat? So through the community kitchens, cooked food will be provided, and this is something which is going to really solve the problem. Okay, and it has been provided a diversified decentralized procurement system. It has been adopted by 9 states and UTs. Okay, they are doing this particular thing. This is something, this is a very good initiative, this is a very good suggestion that can be provided. Other measures that we have in this particular direction is that, guys, PDS has to be diversified, and apart, right now in the PDS we are just giving the cereals. Largely the cereals are being given. So pulses, edible oil, coarse grains are needed to be increased, millets are needed to be included. Community kitchens, a market can be created for the crops and even vegetables. Okay, community kitchens are needed to be created. Then Supreme Court has also provided this particular thing, that a plan for community kitchens is needed to be kept. Is it clear or not? Is needed to be brought. So community kitchen means the kitchens where cooked food will be given. So this particular kind of a plan is needed to be brought. Fine. So this is, guys, the mechanism that can be suggested in this particular direction. So guys, this is all about the articles for today. Guys, I hope that you have understood all the articles, and I hope that you are able to understand them. So that is all, guys, for the today's newspaper, the editorial analysis discussion. Now we'll be meeting tomorrow at the same time. Till then, guys, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much. Okay, if you have any doubt, if you have any question, you may ask.